Have you ever really stopped to think about the power of a name? Especially, a name in religious context.
Yeah, it's a big idea how language, identity, spirituality,
Yeah.
how they all connect.
Well, that's exactly what we're getting into today. We received some really fascinating material
Oh, yeah.
from a listener, actually.
Yeah.
A guy in Wisconsin calls himself a computer guy.
Okay.
And he spent decades, literally decades, studying one specific name, Yahweh.
Wow, decades. That's real dedication from, well, an unexpected source, maybe.
Right. And that's kind of the point he makes, too. But his mission, as he put it, in sharing all this research, it's not just academic. He's hoping it might, spark
To spark what, exactly?
for renewed awareness, maybe even, maybe more use of the name Yahweh within the church today.
Re-emphasizing a specific divine name. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It suggests he believes there's like a real significance there, a power that maybe isn't being fully tapped into.
I think that's exactly it. And the way he framed it was quite striking.
How so?
He actually brought up a parallel from the Bible.
Okay.
You know, how sometimes really ordinary people, like farmers he mentioned,
Right.
were the ones entrusted with something incredibly sacred, like the Ark of the Covenant, that chest representing God's presence.
That's a powerful comparison.
Yeah.
So the idea that understanding or maybe responsibility can come from outside the usual channels, not just priests or scholars.
Exactly. So he wonders, could his years of study, this computer guy, could maybe nudge church, leaders, congregations?
Nudge them to do what? Reconsider the name.
Yeah, reconsider the significance of Yahweh's name, what it means, its history.
Did his research touch on why its use might have decreased? I mean, that's often a key part of the story with divine names.
That seems likely. He
Yeah.
probably went deep into the Hebrew texts, didn't he?
You'd have to, yeah. The original context, why it became less common to pronounce it aloud.
Was it always about reverence or avoiding misuse?
Often, yeah. A kind of profound respect can lead to avoiding direct utterance. It's complex.
So not necessarily a loss of belief in its importance, but maybe a shift in practice.
Precisely. A shift in how that sacredness was acknowledged. And different translations handle it differently too, you know?
That makes sense. He probably tracked all those variations over time.
I'd imagine so. Looking at how different traditions approached it.
So thinking about his hope, this renewed awareness, what would that actually look like, practically speaking?
That's the tricky part, isn't it? Religious language, how it's used, how it evolves.
Yeah.
You'd need to be really careful. Consider existing traditions, avoid misunderstanding.
It's not like you just flick a switch.
No, not at all. It would require real education, thoughtful discussion within communities.
Okay, so just to kind of bring it together, we've looked at this one person's incredible, decades-long focus on Yahweh's name.
Yeah, this deep personal study.
And his hope, his aspiration, is to see that name maybe respectfully reconsidered today.
It really shows how one individual's passion for, a fundamental piece of faith can potentially lead to broader reflection.
Which brings us back to you, listening, thinking about this computer guy from Wisconsin, pouring years into understanding one name. What does that maybe suggest to you about how important names or language are in your own understanding, maybe of faith, maybe something else entirely?
It definitely makes you pause and think about the weight words carry, right? How they shape our connection to what matters most to us.
Yeah, focusing on just one word can open up so much history, so much meaning.
And it also makes you think, doesn't it, about how these shifts, these insights, they don't always come from the expected places.
Right. Sometimes it's just someone with a deep personal drive, a conviction.
Absolutely. A good reminder that knowledge, insight, it shows up in all sorts of ways.
Definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
Thanks for digging into this with me.